We're nearly there. Secondary water source. I just wanted to stop. This is well over the back of the moor, and this lot is farmed. But this has actually been farmed for thousands of years. There was a Bronze Age settlement up here, and flint artifacts have been found. And to my knowledge, flint is not local to this area. So there was probably more activity up here 3,000 years ago than there is now. Just can't believe it. And further down here there was 2 rows of houses when there was a mine shaft, which is where we're going. There's nothing of it left now though. None of the houses are there. There is a well, and that's all that marks the spot. But that was to feed the ironstone down to the blast furnaces on Teesside. And this place is world renowned for its steel, in the past at least anyway. It's more or less all shut down now. Closed the last blast furnace down about a year or so ago, and that'll never reopen because once you shut one of them things down too fast, that's it, you've ruined it. Right, onward. Can you hear the sound of water? That's our secondary source. Unfortunately, it's at the bottom of a very steep bank, and I don't want to end up splashing into it. And I can't see my footholds or the bracken. We don't want to come a cropper. And down. Okay, so look at that. Can you see that sheen on the water? See how red it is? And you see these, what do we call these things? Mare's tails. So we're going to get a bit of water from here, and it looks a bit red, don't you think? Oh well, you can see that. I don't know whether you can see that sheen or not. The waterscapers seem to be surviving. The plants seem to be surviving. So do the business. I don't reckon you can see much there, but we're on a very steep slope. And I don't want to come a cropper. So this is our 1 litre bottle we found with contents. I've drank it all now, there's none left in it. I'm just going to try and get some on a because as soon as you put it in the water, disturb the bottom and it goes a bit cloudy. Actually, I think that's fairly clean. Right, what we'll do now is I'll take this cover off, plastic cover. If I pick it up, I'll take it home. So I'll take this home. You can see there's globs of, I don't know whether you can see, but there's globs of floating debris in there that's red. And I think that's the sort of bacteria that lives on the, 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 the iron. But as soon as you put this in, I could probably get some cleaner than this. I'll take this home. This is going home with me. I know I picked it up, but I'm not going to leave it lying around. Right, I'm going to go for a cleaner. See if I can get it cleaner than that. Okay, that's much cleaner. There's still a few bits in there. Still a few bits, but it's much cleaner. Like some of those bits are on the outside, not the inside. So the inside, there is some bits in there, I can see them, but it's a lot cleaner. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get me water purification tablets out. So they're just in the top of here somewhere. There they are. Expires 12/2017. Well, that's not bad at all, is it? So what does it say? Oasis sodium dichloroisocyanurate. Isocyanurate. Sodium dichloroisocyanurate, 17 milligrams. One tablet purifies 1 litre of water. Leave 10 minutes before use. So if I put one tablet in now, and they're only very small, and the midges are getting me now. Right, let's put this away. This one away. Right, let's get this little tablet in before I lose it. Right, so one little tiny, I don't know whether you can see that, so tiny little tablet. There it goes, all the way to the bottom. And it's dissolving very, very fast. Bubbles are coming up, loads of bubbles, dissolving very quick. Probably chlorine, those bubbles or something. I'll put the top on, in a bit of a shake. By the time we get back, that should be good to drink. Because this is the water we're using. This water, I might end up using this water, but this is for when we've got no other water. Anyway, this is my secondary. This really should be my primary water source. That's not too bad really. I think it would be much filthier from if I could have got it to the pond, if I could have got to the pond without being up to my knees in mud. Right, put that in here. I found something else while I was at that pond. I'm keeping that a secret for now. Just before I made my tactical withdrawal. Right now then, we can't carry on this way. We've got to go back up the steep bank and then go all the way around. Oh, just for reference, right, I left the house at 12 o'clock. I got to the camp about half past 3ish. something like that. I never really looked. It only took half an hour to set up. I mean, it's nothing really, is it? It's just basically 2 tarpaulins and about 7 sticks of wood, and then some sticks just around it. Anyway, it's 5:45 now, so I had my breakfast at 6 o'clock this morning. But have you seen the Mozzies now? Have you seen them? I'm going to have to get out of here. Right, I'm going to have to get out of here. Getting murdered by the Mozzies. Anyway, we've been on the go for a long time, but I have been snacking on the way round, and I've got the latest find snacking in here, which is my pudding tonight. Superb it is, superb. You've got to embrace the unexpected when you come out into the wild, because you will get confronted by the unexpected, and mostly it's good, brilliant unexpected. But don't tell everybody, because they'll all be out here. Right, mission now, barring what we find on the way, is to get back to camp and to get a little brew on. And I've got to get out around here, because I don't know whether you can hear the buzzing, but the buzzing around my head tremendously. Right, steep slope to negotiate, camera's going off. Have I been recording? I'll find out so many times I've been waffling away and not recording. I'll get the hang of it one of these days. 2 things. First of all, I had to put the shemag on, keep the Mozzies off. The other thing, I've just had a slight brush with near injury. I just poked myself in the head with this sharp stick. So, let's get that sewn off. The next thing is, for those who saw my 24-hour survival video and wondered why I was so reluctant to have a fire out here, well, this is why. Because if you cut the grass off, this just goes down and down. So there's your top with your grass growing, and roots just go down and down and down. So you do not want to get this stuff on fire. So a normal open fire is totally out of the question. Which is why, in this situation, I've just brought my Crusader with hexi blocks, and that seat I cut to sit on is first of all going to be my workbench. This is camp 1, and there's nothing here at the moment except for these poles that I made the shelter out of. But I'll keep returning and keep building stuff up. So I don't want too much stuff here. Somebody eventually will come across it and probably scatter it about, and it's a fairly damp area, so anything's going to rot over time as well, so you don't want to put too much work in. So anyway, let's get the fire going. Stove. I need some matches. Oh, is that a disaster? The torch has gone on. Torch has gone on. Could have run the batteries down. That's something to consider when you get a torch. How easy is it to accidentally switch on? Right then, have I got any matches or not? I thought I had some. I've got some somewhere. There we go. Now then, the thing I'm concerned about is I've got 5 matches. The military matches, UK military matches. They're not really that good at lighting a fire. You don't get a lot of flame or time for your money, especially to light a hexi block. So I like to light an elastic band. I always carry plenty of elastic bands. I did pick up one elastic band on the way here while I was still on the roads. I'll use a bit of paper. So these haven't been opened yet. So we'll get me UK legal carry knife out. Bushcrafters, we do tend to make a big thing about the limitations we're under, and I have many different bushcraft knives, a Moor, and I've got several knives made by Paul of Manticore Knives, and I do believe that if I have my knife in my pack and I'm coming out to do bushcraft and I find a place like this which is secluded and I'm using my knife just to do bushcraft, then that's reasonable cause. So as long as you're not waving it about in public, as long as you're not offending anybody, then I'm sure I am allowed to bring my bushcraft knife out here in a situation like this. But just to be perfectly, well, and to try this knife out, which is a prototype of knives Paul is going to make, which are UK legal. But as we all know, the UK laws are set to change, which is going to seriously impact on people like Paul of Manticore Knives. They can, or they will no longer be able to send them through by post. So I can see why the law is going to be changed, tightened up if you like. I can't see it doing one bit of good to the honest bushcrafter, and to the dishonest yob. Are they going to stop selling knives in, you know, the big supermarket chains or the hardware stores? I don't think so. Are they going to stop knives in people's kitchens? I don't think so. So I really don't see the logic behind it, other than to appease or make people think that something's been done. But anyway, that's beside the point. Beside the point. Let's. What did I get the knife out for now? Oh, to open this up. Right. In fact, I don't need to put a big hole in that. I just need to get a little nick, enough to get one match out. And then I just need to get the striker out. Right. And that just, it's held open. It's fairly stiff, and you've got that bar there that when you're gripping it, okay, it's going to dig into your hand, but it does give it some resistance to folding on your fingers, which is dangerous, isn't it? I mean, we cannot have a locking knife. Yeah, a non-locking knife is a dangerous knife. I mean, I agree with Mad Dog Survival. I agree with everything he said, but I don't think it's going to make a heap of the difference myself. Right. One match, one hexi block. You know, I sometimes think normal matches are better than these. They have a tendency, if you hold the match there, they do have a tendency to snap off there, so you really have to get hold of the solid piece. It'll only start burning at the end, you've got time to move your fingers back. So there we go. And that's the match out now, the match is done. So if you hadn't got it lit in that time, then that's it. It's another match. So let's hope that exit block catches. I'll keep that one for me dinner, and we'll get the water straight on. Now then, the water, let's get all these sawdust off me. The water is the water we got. It does have a distinct orange colour about it. Actually, the Mozzies seem to have gone. Anyway, that Puree tab will have done its job now, so this should be safe, perfectly safe to drink. I could drink that, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. So we'll make that then our primary water source. Right, let's get this, let's get a cup of coffee on the go. A good big cup of coffee. Now then, I've got the aluminium top pie dish, just a pie dish. That'll help it to boil. So, it's 6 months ago since I was here, and if you remember that or saw that, it was freezing, and I went home about, I can't remember now, about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Because the most important thing is not to ruin the following day, and I don't want to ruin the following day by doing this. I should get a good night's sleep here, and the next day I should be good to go, not sleep deprived. Right, let's get the glove out in case anything gets hot. I don't have a spoon, which is why I picked up that lollipop stick, which I can't remember where I put now. Now then, let me tell you. Now, remember we were going to the primary water source, and I encountered some activity at the top of the lake there. I didn't want to get involved, so I just made a tactical withdrawal. Nobody saw me, but just prior to that I had picked up, you've already seen me, I picked up the Lucasade bottle, didn't I? And it had Lucasade in it. I've gone one better. Look at that. Almost full orangeade, 2 litres. So I've been carrying that around with me since then as well. It's fully under pressure, that is fully pressurised, so there's nothing wrong with that. Fully pressurised. People bring stuff up, it's heavy, they don't want to carry it around with them. So I'll make use of that. Now then, what's for dinner? Well, remember the raspberries? Remember the raspberries I found? Look at that. That's for pudding. I'm not sure I should eat all that many raspberries. I've been eating raspberries, I've been eating bilberries, and I've got rose hips. But anyway, we've got these raspberries. So at least some of them will do for me pudding. Now for the main course. Remember I was here six months ago? I keep going on about it, don't I? Well, from 6 months ago, I've still got some noodles left. From 6 months ago. And I got 3 packets of soup. And I only used one of them. So I must have eaten the other one at some time, and I've got one left. So soup and noodles. That's for emergencies only. Some trail mix, just for emergencies. Keep that, won't eat that. What I was going to have for pudding, I'll have to keep it. I might eat it. I might eat it for breakfast. Some sticky toffee pudding. This is military style rations. I say military style, but in fact the best before date, best before end of September 2016. So that's just coming up for 2 years out of date. That should be alright, that. I'll have that for my breakfast. Save that for breakfast. Right then, so I've got a lolly stick because I'm going to need that. Not in there, there's nothing in there. Trail mix. I've got various pieces of cord that I brought with me but I didn't use. Still got the ball of white string plus some old white string. But this is different white string. I actually picked this up from Bisley. Some campers had been camping and left that behind. So there's my lolly stick. There's my lolly stick. So I'm going to switch off now, save the battery a bit until my coffee's on the go. I've got my cup of coffee and I've got my noodles on, and then I'll bring you back in. Time is it now? It's 10 to 7 now. 10 to 7, so we're not doing so bad. I think this will be me at the camp for the night. I won't be wandering out to camp anymore by the time I've had my dinner. We'll see what time it is. Right, so I might just have a little drink because that coffee's actually going to dehydrate me. So I'm going to need some of this to do the noodles with, but I'll just have a little drink of it. We might have, that'll do the noodles. And then when I've got my coffee and I've got my dinner, we might have some fizzy orange for when I'm having my pudding. Right, so I'll bring you back in when I'm sorted with my dinner. Well, it's burning a bit too vigorously. I'll take it off for a little bit. I've got my coffee and I'm just sitting here listening. I can hear them cows in the background. I can hear the birds which are getting closer and closer. Little sparrows, I think. Be various other birds as well. I can also hear the distant noise of tyres on the road, which is quite a few miles away, and the buzzing of flies around my head, and the noise that the flames are making, and the boiling water when the water's on. But it's nice just to sit and listen and not be totally overwhelmed by mostly traffic noise, people talking. I bet we must really be quite deaf compared to our ancestors. The amount of noise we're subject to. There's a little bird in the tree. It's about 8 feet from me and it's moving closer. I don't know what it is. It's very inquisitive. Moving along the branch towards me. It'll never get closer than about 8 feet. But it's cocking its head. It just jumped up, went back down on the branch again. I'm in its territory. I'm in its back garden. Well, it hasn't flown off, but it's flown further away now. Anyway, I put those noodles back on. Well, they're not noodles. They're not noodles. Did I say they were noodles? What are they? I don't know where the packet is now. Oh, it's in here, I think. It's pasta. That's what it is. Durham. That's what it is. Whatever that is. That's what it is. Fusilli. It's pasta anyway. The pasta's probably about done, so I'll put this back on the flame. I'll put a wee bit more water in. And I'll put my chicken soup in. I usually take noodles out with me. They do a lot quicker than this pasta. But I had this left from six months ago, so I thought I'd better use it up. I haven't got any spices or anything like that. I usually eat pretty basic when I'm out. So one advantage of a little gas stove, I suppose, is you can regulate the heat a bit better. If you could move this aside a bit, it would be better. Now then, there's one thing I haven't got, which is a spoon. So whether or not I can make one out of this stick, it won't be a spoon as such, but might be better than nothing. Might be better than a lollipop stick anyway. I don't really go for this method of holding stuff. Although it does seem to work, doesn't it? Seems to work quite well, in fact. So there we go. Let's bring the good old UK legal knife back into action. I keep it in the bag because Paul gave me the first one he made, and I've misplaced it. So I asked him to give me this one, which is, the first one was just a one-off, and then he thought he'd make like a sort of prototype, and this is the prototype. So I don't know what I'd have to give him if I lost this. I haven't lost the other one. I mean, it never left the garden, but I don't know where it is. It's blooming. I haven't sharpened it or anything. Ooh. A bit uneven ground here. But it seems to be, you can get I mean, it's less than a 3-inch blade, because that's what you're allowed legal carry. Of course, when I say legal carry, you couldn't take this into a nightclub, or, you know, you don't want to take it on the trains and things with you. It's just what you do feel comfortable carrying around for normal, you know, sharpening pencils. Even this though, I wouldn't bring it out in public. If there was some dire emergency, like you'd turned up on a crash and had to cut somebody's seatbelt off or something. Which I have had to do before. It didn't help him much though, because the front of the car was caved in so much he was trapped by his legs. He couldn't get the seat to go back, so he had to wait for the fire brigade to turn up and virtually pull the car apart. You got well, no, you don't have to be careful really, just as long as you're not folding it down on your fingers, which if you weren't that careful you'd do it with any other knife anyway, but it just folds. Friction holds it. It's got a pivot point and a stop point, in both directions. Very good. Don't want to lose it. That needs a little bit more finishing off. What about that? Oh, that's solidified, that. It's gone like glue. Just finish this off. I don't know whether a sharp edge would be better for getting into the corners. There we go. That'll do. That'll do for a quick spoon. Especially as my dinner's gone a bit pasty anyway, so should be alright. That locks in nicely, holds it nicely, can't go anywhere. Does all the leather work himself, press studs and everything. Proper sewing. Set in. Belt loop on it. Belt loop's a bit tight, but I'm sure you don't want it slack to start off with. It's got plenty of, well, it does come out there, look. Plenty of, get a good belt in there. And it's like shaped leather. Well, you'll know about leather. I know you heat it up, don't you, in boiling water or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just waffling on. So, This is the first meal of the day since I had a single banana on toast this morning for my breakfast at 6 o'clock. So that's over 12 hours ago. So you don't need much food. I think it's you do need some food to keep you going. I can hardly fit the pudding in. There's the pudding. There it is. I'll probably go back tomorrow morning, fill this bottle up again, take some home, and then we'll have it with cream for our tea. There used to be 2 rows of houses up here when the mines were on the go. So these raspberries were probably planted by the people who lived in those houses about 100 years ago or more. This will be good for your constitution. Right, that'll do for now then. As for the washing up, I'm not sure what to do about that. I'll just wipe it out with grass, I think. All the water I've got left, apart from the litre of clean water. But I do, of course, have that. So, what a find, eh? And it's solid, under pressure. Watch this. Oh, it wasn't even opened. Never opened. Strawberries and orangeade for afters. I brought a fresh pair of socks with me this time, so I'm going to change into them. Not that I feel I'm going to be cold tonight. Your socks do get damp. Nice dry feet. Socks are damp, but my feet feel fairly dry. I'll just let them air off for a short time before I put those socks on. There's a lot of little bits of bracken about. All these little, oh, there's a laggy band, look, I lost a laggy band. Keep hold of that. Lots of sharp little bits of bracken about. So every now and again you've got to check your socks for sharp bits and your shoes. Get the sharp bits out. Turn them inside out, not that it'll make a great deal of difference. I've cleaned my mug out. I cleaned my mug out using the orangeade, and it did a fantastic job. So God knows what it does to your teeth. It's not something I drink regularly. Now, it's 8 o'clock now. Believe it or not, that's my normal bedtime. I go to bed early, ordinarily, and get up early. So, as I've had a busy day, I might just retire. I've got the headlight here, although it's switched on in the bag, it seems to have plenty of power in it, so it's not going to get dark for a bit yet. I'll just leave it hung up there. Right, well that battery's flashing at me now. So that's 2 batteries I've gone through. So I haven't got much battery left. I won't have much SD card left either at this rate. But won't be a great deal to do tomorrow. I'm not sure what state to leave this in. I think I'll leave the frame up but take the tarp off. And then I can keep replacing bits and pieces every now and again. Gradually get it slightly bigger, slightly flatter underneath. Seat to sit on, table to work at, and then we'll have an established camp 1. Right, well that thing's going to clock itself off in a minute anyway, so I'll say good night, save the other battery for the morning, and I'll see you at first light. Unless anything happens during the night, of course, that needs reporting.